Hello everybody, this is Kevin with me, myself, and my vinyl. And I am making a contest entry for Chris Propfe's Musically Obsessed contest for 2021. Chris's channel, I've been watching his channel for quite some time now. He does everything from kind of, vinyl finds to talking about records and albums. He does some collaborations with some other channels. And he also plays music on his channel. He sings and plays acoustic guitar. He does covers, and also sometimes he'll do original songs as well. So, Chris, I love your channel. Thank you for putting this on, and here's my entry. It's been great watching everybody else's entries out there. 5 questions. There's 5 questions as to what he wants you to answer. The first one is, show a record from 1974. All right. This was released in 1974, but it was reissued in 2017. This is Leonard Skinner's Second Helping. This is a Analog Productions 45 RPM that I recently got in kind of a big haul. This is gatefold. Excuse me. And yeah, I got it in a big haul recently, and I just haven't had a chance to even crack this thing open to give it a listen. But from some of the reviews I hear, this thing's phenomenal. So that's 1974 submission. Question number 2 is, show something from 1988. Now, Chris says 88. Why 88? That was kind of the year he kind of found his own way with music, or at least started. So I was 14 years old. He kind of a formative year for him as far as his musical tastes go. So what is my entry for, or my answer to that question? 1988, show a record. Well, I'm showing one of my favorite records of all time, Jane's Addiction's Nothing Shocking. I actually have 2 copies of this. I have 2 copies because I bought one thinking it was an original, and it turns out when I ran the matrix, when I got it home, it was a repress. So I went out and found an original. So Jane's Addiction is Nothing Shocking. Like I said, I just love this old record. It's fantastic. Probably the 2 biggest songs off of that are Mountain Song and Jane Says. So, all right. The third question is, show 3 records in your collection that are important to you. Well, what makes a record important to you? You could go about this any which way you want to. And, since Chris was kind of saying when he was 14 and kind of finding his own way through his own, taste of music, I'm going to kind of take that same approach. This came out in 1991. This was everywhere. I was 11 years old at the time. And that is Pearl Jam's 10. And this actually is not, this isn't the original artwork. I bought this. This is an edition that has the original record, the way it was released initially, and then it has a remastered edition. So you actually get both, and there's the gatefold. It just kind of gives you the liner notes, or actually the lyrics, and a couple pictures of the band. So originally out in 91. This version came out in 2009, excuse me. That was the first record that I bought, or CD that I bought with my own money. I listened to that thing constantly, and you couldn't really get away from it. MTV played Jeremy, and I think, what was the other one, Black, and was it Alive? There was 3 videos out for that, and then they were on like constant loop, so there was no getting away from it. So I still love this record today. Do I crank it up as much as I used to? Not as high, but I do listen to it. I still love it. Is it Pearl Jam's best record? Probably not, but it's a great debut. All right, next record. Oh no, we're still on something important. 1996. I was a sophomore in high school. Just started driving, turning 16. And this is Dave Matthews' Crash. Now, grunge at this point was already on its way out. Post-grunge, like alternative rock, was kind of coming around. Dave Matthews Bands was everything that I didn't hear on the radio, if that makes any sense. Like, nothing sounded like this. I mean, it was on the radio. It had a following. I actually had a pretty big following. But Dave Matthews was something that everything else wasn't, if that makes any sense. You know, Dave Matthews, you know, I think he's a great guitarist. His voice, you know, I like it, or at least at the time I did. And then you had Boyd Tinsley, played the violin in a rock band. Leroy Moore also played saxophone in a rock band. So, and you had Carter Buford on the drums. He's an underrated drummer, in my opinion. And now I can't remember the bassist's name. But I love this record, and I used to listen to it all the time. Not so much, and in fact, I'm going to throw this on after I complete this video because it's just been that long since I've actually heard it. But for me, and I'm probably going to get hammered for this comparison, and I've said this before to my friends, and they're just like, "You're an idiot." That might be true. But this is kind of my generation's Bruce Springsteen. Now, I don't mean the music, and I don't mean like, you know, I'm not comparing him to Bruce Springsteen. I'm just saying that, like, Bruce Springsteen in the 80s, think about the music that was going on in the 80s. It was a lot of metal, like rock and roll was, you know, a lot of metal. Think about who was out then, you know, Van Halen, you know, I mean, Van Halen, Motley Crue, like all those, you know, metal bands were out, and Bruce Springsteen was not that. You know, he had the E Street Band behind him, and you know, he had a horn section, right? So he had a keyboardist. So Bruce Springsteen was doing what everybody else wasn't doing, and I feel like Dave Matthews was kind of doing everything that people of his time wasn't doing, and it made for great music. And this was kind of like the jumping off point for me as far as listening to some of the stuff I listens to today. Like this, they're a jam band. They are. Go to one of their concerts, they'll jam for 20 minutes. So this was kind of a bridge to bands that I love today, like you know, Grateful Dead and Widespread Panic and My Morning Jacket and some other even newer bands. So all right, so last one. This one came out in 2003. And this was kind of my introduction to kind of like indie bands. I was in college at the time when it came out. At the time it came out, I didn't know about it until a year later. But it's the Postal Service, Give Up. This is two people. It's Benjamin Gibbert from Death Cab for Cutie. This is, I think, before Death Cab. And I forget the other guy's name. Jimmy Tamborello. So they collaborated on this, and the reason why it's called the Postal Service, the band's name is called the Postal Service, is because at that point in time in 2003, you know, still pretty primitive with the internet and stuff like that. Couldn't share files all that well. So they were sending tapes in the mail. Tamborello was kind of doing the music, and then he'd send it to Ben Gibbert, and he would put down some vocals over top of it, and they were sending stuff back and forth via United States Postal Service. So that is their name. Got sued over the name of their band. Ironically, they settled it somehow. I don't know if they, settled out of court or what happened, but the United States Postal Service ended up using one of their songs in their commercials. Also, same song, it's called Such Great Heights, was used for UPS, United Parcel Service. What can Brown do for you? Well, before that, they were using one of their songs. It's called Such Great Heights. So this is the 10-year anniversary edition. Comes with a booklet right here. Kind of cool artwork. It kind of has some stuff that, it's kind of like a book that has the little bit of artwork that kind of goes with songs. This is kind of industrial, even though it's indie. It's like almost like an industrial, almost. It's very high tempo at times and then very low tempo at times. Kind of electronic, but it's really a fun listen. And this was on Sub Pop. And a lot of artists have like redone that song, Such Great Heights. You probably know the song if you heard it. Iron and Wine did a version that I actually used in my wedding. So I used to listen to this quite often. And every time I listen to it, it brings up a lot of emotions and the kind of times I was going through. I just graduated college. I got into a relationship with a girl, and then I broke up with a girl, and had a lot of other crap going on in my life. But some of it was really good, and some of it wasn't, and it just kind of reminds me of those feelings. And of course, like I said, I used a different version of one of these songs in my wedding. So it always brings up a bunch of different emotions, and that's why this album is important to me. So. Highly suggest giving it a stream. If you like Death Cab for Cutie, this is a precursor to that, but it's not Ben Gibbert's music, it's his voice. So, all right, question number 4. Show your inner and outer sleeves. Currently, my inners, I use the Mo-Fi sleeves. I have 2 more packs of these. I got, 50 sleeves each. So I use like the rice paper ones. In fact, where is it? There you go. All right. So I use those Mo-Fi sleeves with the rice paper. I'm trying to get rid of those. Eventually I'll use them all. I do like the rice paper sleeves. But I do have a ton of vinyl storage solutions, same sleeves. I don't have a package open, but I actually have like 200 of their sleeves that are supposed to be like the Mo-Fi sleeves. They're a little bit thicker, and actually you can find them for cheaper. Vinyl storage solutions runs like 10 and 15% off quite frequently. Actually, around Record Store Day, they always do a sale. So those are the inner ones. I also have used in the past from Vinyl Storage Solutions. I do like these. They're hard to come by right now, but when you have some color wax, the inner sleeves, they have these crystal clear ones. They're just like the outer sleeves that I'm going to talk about here in a second, but you can see, you can see the wax really well through there. So it kind of just gives that, colored vinyl, which I don't have a ton, but I do have some. Kind of gives a little bit of a pop. So I thought those are kind of cool. And I have this one also to show, when it's in there, it's kind of cool. And as far as my outer sleeves, I primarily, for my like single LPs, I use the Vinyl Storage Solutions. I use the 4mm with the tuckable flap. You can see the flap on the outside. Crystal clear. They look good. I know there's a little bit of a glare, but so far they've been really good products. I love Vinyl Storage Solutions. These are the ones I use in the outer sleeves. I do use, let's see, I did have a gatefold. So, oh no. Oh, when I do have gatefolds, I do buy the 2mm sealable ones, and you can kind of, you can see this is a Morrison Hotel Sessions, all right, alternative. You can kind of create, put two of them together and create a pocket. These have the pockets in the back, so you can kind of slide them in and out in the back there. So those are the ones I use for my gatefold. So I'm primarily Vinyl Storage Solutions. I love them. Okay, last question, number 5. Number 5 is, when did you join the VC? Officially, I joined the VC, I guess, by posting my first video, and that was on January 15th of this year, 2021. Yeah, it hasn't been a year yet. And I did that in a response to a video. It was actually another contest that I was doing. So, been about 6 months, 7 months, almost coming up on 8. So, yeah. Before that, I mean, I've been making comments and stuff on people's videos and stuff like that. So who knows really when I joined the VC, but I started making videos January 15th of 2021. So, all right, there's my entry. I hope you enjoyed it. Good luck to all of you out there, and thank you again, Chris, for putting on this contest.